Guitar players who still do not have enough information about the Boss SY1000. This is the last video in the series. It's technically a 5-part series, but now I think we're up to video 7 with the NAMM video and the track and everything. If by the end of this video you don't know whether you should buy this or not, I cannot help you. You might just have to order one and play around with it and see what happens. Okay? And maybe these videos can be some kind of a guideline on how to get started. So we're looking at the editor now, available for PC and Mac. And I'm not going to go into the super detail that I went into on the walkthrough. Everything you can do on the actual unit, which we still have picture-in-picture here, you can do on the editor just on a computer screen with the mouse. I was hoping that it would be a little bit more in terms of interface, but we get into that. As for installation, I went to go on the Boss website, which in Germany shows up as the German website. Be aware, there's a manual and stuff like this, but no editor on the German website as of yet. So I had to kind of, actually Google a bit, find my way onto the US website, which doesn't show up immediately in Germany. And there I found, I think it was a firmware update and then the editor. But then when you open the editor, which is you just download, install, very easy on the Mac, probably on the PC as well. But it wants a driver, which is nowadays kind of like, why? Boss always does that. A lot of little pieces of software that you have to install. I mean, try to use the Waza tube amp expander on your personal computer. It's a drag. They need to get better at this. Why isn't the driver automatically installed with the Boss Tone Studio, which is what we're looking at right now? If we know we use it, we need it for that, why isn't that part of the installation? So you need to install the driver and the Tone Studio separately. And that's what you're looking for, the Boss Tone Studio for SY1000, as it says up here. Once you install that, it is fairly easy. You open... Mine is in the Boss thing, there's the TAE stuff, and there's the Tone Studio. Relatively simple. Open that, it finds the hardware, and that's it. Now, anything I do on here, if you see I'm changing presets, and you can see that it changes presets. Or if I change presets on the unit, which is the 4 buttons down here, which you can't see, it's changing it in the software. It would be really nice if there was more of a correlation of the software and the hardware. For example, if I'm going into something right here to edit it, that it actually, wait, you click on it. Yeah, that it actually went into instruments and edit, and it kind of was completely correlating. So that if I wanted to, I could grab a knob right here and edit the parameter. It doesn't do that. So let's go into it, what the software actually is. On the left here, you see presets, which is obviously a lot easier and a better overview. Generally speaking, you have a better overview of what's happening on the actual unit than using the unit itself. And that's pretty much it. I even feel that it could be even better of an overview. So you will be faster with the editor, but I'm going to tell you, not that much faster. Once you know the unit, which you please watch my SY1000 walkthrough if you want to know how to operate it on itself. Once you know that, the editor isn't realistically giving you a major advantage. It is faster, but not that much. So this window right here, this effects chain window, is the main view in the editor. So you can see instrument 1, instrument 2, instrument 3. We're on the top left. Look on the top left, people. 1, 2, 3. There's the normal input, which is my normal 1/4 inch cable, and all the blocks. So if I click on a block, you can see down here, it becomes active. And then if I click on it again up here, I can turn it on and off, or even here. So then down here, you can pick the synth engine. And you can see if I'm changing that right here, it correlates and does the same thing. Now, if you're looking at the hardware unit, it's actually showing you a little image. And that's exactly what I'm missing in the editor. I'm missing the visuals, like a big time. Oscillator things. Why don't they have that little image right here? We're very visual beings. So I go to, let's say I go to guitar, edit, guitar, and now I'm changing the guitar style, and it's showing me a visual. Okay, so this is this page right here, the guitar page. So these pages right here, which are blocks, are tabs. So I'm going into the guitar page. Do you see any visual? See, if I'm changing it, it's showing me modern strat in the little window there. P90s, but that's all it does. There's literally not even a picture, which even the hardware unit has. So in visual feedback, the hardware unit is actually better. Here, of course, instead of going and clicking through them, you can go directly to what you want, P90. And then you have the parameters here. It would be so cool to just have a visual representation of a Les Paul type guitar with 2 P90s, and you just go, click, I want the front, I want the middle, or maybe even move the switch around, actually manipulate the guitar, volume, tone, manipulate that on the guitar. Is it necessary? No. Would it be easier to understand what you're doing? Would it be more visually appealing? Yes. Given the size of Boss and the size of the team and the price of the unit, I don't think I'm asking for too much. So that is something you can do in here. Again, if I go to oscillator synth, I have my common. So there's the different strings. I can say how loud they are and if they're panned left and right. I have the alternate tuning, which you can see is quite complex. So you can do alternate tunings. But let's say I go to the oscillator. Okay, I have sine, saw, triangle, square in a list, just like I have here. So there really isn't any difference in the editor other than I have a drop-down menu and I could go a little bit faster to it. Why didn't they take that dynamic synth and actually put it into a visual representation of a synthesizer? Does it have to have like a metal look? No. Maybe wooden sides? No. Could it have that like a user interface on a virtual instrument? I think it should, but it could have sliders and like a filter section and all that's like actually a visual representation of that dynamic synth with a little knob going click, 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 where I see the different waveforms and I actually have visual representations of these waveforms, a little sine wave and a saw and a triangle. So just that it feels more like I'm editing a synth. This is very matter of fact. It does get the job done, but I have to say I have to think about it a little bit more. Plus, now if I want to go to the filter, which on the unit I get that is another section, which it has to be because on the unit you have limited space. Why isn't the oscillator and the filter and the amp and the LFO all in one user interface? So I go to filter, and there I have the different filter types, low pass filter, Jennifer low pass filter. I make that joke every single time. You have the cutoff. Is it going to do the job? Yes. But would be so cool if that was actually a more full representation of a synth. And they could have a different graphic and user interface for each of those. The GR300, there isn't a lot here. If you can see that, GR300, you know, there aren't a lot of parameters, so it should be doable to do this. Acoustic, again, see on the unit, it actually shows me a visual representation of different, of different acoustics. It doesn't do that in the software. So you get my gripe about that. Other than that, all fine. Here the variations, I can select the different variations, which are presets for that sub-genre, for that sound engine, which in this case is acoustic. So we're going to go back to dynamic synth. So you have the 3 different engines here, which you can easily turn on and off. Now you have a balance between engine 1 and 2, which here is represented bigger than in the in the hardware. There's a tiny little dot, and if I go to that tiny little dot, at the bottom you can see balance and left and right. Here, it's much clearer. I can pan instrument 1, instrument 2, or just do a balance. Same thing for if I add number 3. Here is, for example, my in and out, my send return, my physical send and return. Now, if I wanted to move that, all I do is I drag that, which is also quite a bit easier, and all of a sudden I put that in front of my amp. Where's my amp? Ah, here's my amp. I don't want that there. I want that there. Bam! And I turn it on. Bam! That's how easy that is. So editing your effects chain is quite a bit easier because on the hardware unit, you only have the rotary. So if I go to compressor, there's my compressor, there's my noise gate. I go to FX1, again, click up here to turn it on and off. And here you can pick from a huge variety of effects. Let's go to delay. I have all my parameters. Again, some kind of visual representation would be nice instead of just giving me the parameters. It's a little bit matter-of-factly, a little bit bland. Here you have all your different delays. I understand that it would be a couple of weeks' work for a graphic designer to design all of this. And then boss has to wait a second, how many people are going to buy this? How many people are going to care? Well, that stupid Henning guy, he's going to care. He's going to bitch about it, but that's fine. Let him bitch about it. He hopefully still likes the hardware or good. So is it worth to pay this guy for a couple of weeks to get all these user interfaces made? Probably not. There aren't going to be tens of thousands of people buying an SY1000. Out of those tens of thousands, there's probably not going to be tens of thousands who are going to use the software editor all the time. And again, out of those, how many will care about that? So I get why they're not doing it. But I never care about bottom line and stuff like this. You know, if you care about your product, do the best job you can. So here's tape and so on and so on. I can, of course, move these around as I please. Here's balance number 3, which balances between the synth engine and the normal engine. So let's say I turn my normal engine on, which again is coming in from the 1/4 inch. Here. Turn the amp on. I need that. Let's go to twin combo. Oh, I have to have the level up. Still a bit quiet. Here we go. Now talk about visuals. For us guitar players, is this how we want to see the layout for gain, blah, 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 on an amp? A little bit of a visual of an actual... I don't want them to show a twin because I want Boss to respect Fender's trademarks. So it doesn't even have to have the twin knob, but a little bit more of what an amp looks like. So I'm going to go to 212 with a 57. That's fine. So here's a distortion. We're going to turn that on. Going to go to OD1. I like the OD1. Actually sounds pretty damn cool. Going to take FX3, which is not used right now. Look how easy that is. Put that behind the amp. Turn that sucker on. And I want a delay. And I want that to be tip delay. But that's mono right now. That's interesting. Why is it mono? Well, because I think this whole chain is only mono. Let's see what happens if I... What if I take this behind here? Nope, still not turning stereo. No idea what's happening. So I put this here because I don't want it to affect everything. But then on balance, I can go and say I want more of my normal sound. And then you can mix in the synthesizer as much as you want. Pretty cool. You could turn off all the effects if you wanted that, just to see what that looks like. How do I do that? Double click. No, click. Click again. Click. Click again. Reverb. Turn it off. So if I wanted, let's say quickly add an acoustic to that for some reason. I'm using the instrument 2 for that. You can see you can get to what you want relatively fast. I want the GB something something. Gonna go 50-50 here. Actually, I want the distorted guitar much less. So there's an acoustic, and right now I'm using the actual pickups on my guitar for the normal input. So let's go to the back here, and we're going to do bridge pickup, 26%, let's say, or mixing in a little bit of drive. Much better than distorting an actual acoustic, which sounds like crap. So you have an acoustic, but with a little bit of actual pickup modeled twin with an overdrive in front of it. Kinda cool. So here's the master where you set the master BPM and all this stuff. That is pretty neat. You can get, as you have seen, relatively quickly to the result that you want. In terms of control, which is what you would access with the control button, here you have access to what every Stompy does. Here, function. You can even say, one does patch plus or patch minus, so it's the 4 that you don't see right now. But let's say we're gonna go to bank down, which is this. That can be anything. It can be any of about 1 trillion different functions, which is crazy. But let's say I don't like what that looks like. So instead of white, I want that red, or I want that blue, or I want that green. You can change the colors on each of them. Isn't that neat? And you can say whether that is per patch or generally for the whole system, which I love. So if you bank up and down, you want those to be green. or green and red. So visually you're like, that's where I'm going. And you want that for the whole board, then you do it system-wide. Here's guitar to MIDI, patch to MIDI, or patch MIDI, assignments, loads of stuff you can do when it comes to control setups. Up here you have the Librarian, so you can have a whole live set, and then another live set. So depending on the evening, you just load a different kind of group of patches in there, and you're good to go. Maybe you have your long set, your short set, whatever. Here's the tuner, which can go like a normal tuner, and actually works. You don't see my headstock. I'm working on a bigger green screen. It's coming tomorrow. Doesn't help me now. And here's the way that it actually shows up on the unit, and you can see there the SY hardware and the software go together. So I changed the tuner, and the hardware shows me the tuner as well. I wish it did that on more things. Then we have the system. Everything you can get in the system right here is represented right here. The knob settings, the input settings, which means the adjustment of different levels for the individual divided pickup. And you can see it shows you that. And again, the hardware corresponds. So it does that, but not always. Main out, totals, what total settings? That's cool. Yeah, a global reverb level and global threshold for the noise gate. And that is very cool that you can do that. I think I've pointed that out at some point. Hardware settings, it's all here. Back up your settings. And then you have the Tone Central, which goes on the internet. Right now, there's 2 sets of 8 sounds. One by this guy, Alex Hutchins, and one by Nick Reinhardt. Crazy sounds. So you can go ahead. Apparently, it just loaded that. Did it? Did it? Close. Did it load that? Yeah. That's how easy it is. Let's see what Nick has. Pretty straightforward and simple. Nick, come on. Give me more. One hell of a crazy sound. What's wrong with Nick? So as this thing becomes more widely available, because right now it's brand new, we don't have an expression on it, you'll be able to actually, download tons of sounds from the community. Alex, that's nice. You have to wait till it's actually loaded. Nothing on the top 2 strings. Funky delay? Alex, I don't hear funky delay. Where is that? I think that's something different. Oh, you made an 8 string. he left out 2 strings and then went to the top 4 strings. That's kind of cool. Boy, there's some great fun to be had. And I mean, the creativity that you can express and it's insane. A little bit of normal guitar, but then with this and then mixed with this and then only that string on the right side, but that string detuned over here. Craziness. So the editor, it does the job. It's faster than working on the unit itself. It's free. Installation comes in bits, which again should be better, boss. Please work on that. People bitch about it. I mean, people write me about the TAE and saying, I'm in Australia, I can't get help from boss, I can't install this thing because it's so many little things and unzipping that and doing that and doing that. People are confused about how you do software, boss. So please, if you get better at that, it's kick ass. Okay. As far as the interface goes, I would like to see more of a visual representation. If I go to a dynamic synth, come here, click on it, go to oscillator, show me a little square wave picture. Just that kind of stuff really helps us out. I think there isn't enough little pictures. And I'd like to see little pictures. Right now what you're seeing is there's doggies coming, is a full HD representation of the editor. So even if you took it down to less than full HD, which I don't know who still has that, it would work because you can see there's quite a bit of space left here. So it does scale, but if I go to my full 5K on the Mac, it does become rather small. So it's scalable, but it's not really using the full screen real estate. All I gotta say is I have links below to the synth, to the pickup, to the cable and all this stuff. Please check them out. Please use them if you want to buy anything. Whatever you want to buy anywhere, please use the links. It helps me. If you buy a pack of strings, click on the SY1000 link and the pack of strings will apply to me. So thank you for that. This was a fun series. It was a week of work for Boss to show everything about the SY1000. But if you're in the market for it, hopefully this showed you everything you want to know and more. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Rainer. Thank you, Jamie, everyone at Boss for working with me. That's it's an honor. My first 3 pedals probably were Boss pedals. So, we don't go back, but me and Boss go way back. 30 years by now. Holy crap. So thanks for that. I had fun with this and probably will continue having fun with this for certain projects. And support me wherever you can. There's Patreon. There's the affiliate links. Please subscribe. Do the Instagram. Do Facebook. All this stuff helps me. Right now, if you're watching this in times of the Rona, stay home. Watch more videos. Play guitar. Practice. Create. FaceTime with people. Stay safe. Okay. And here's some animals at the end.